I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Well, here's what's going on today. You need to make this much money to be considered middle class now in Southern California. A hippo has swallowed a 2-year-old boy and then spit him out. And beer prices are on the rise due to inflation. As always, I'm here with my co-host and general know-it-all current events guy, Joe.
Hey, Barry. It's Monday.
And I had a fun weekend. What'd you do this weekend?
Okay, so, man, I had a bad week last week. I was just wondering why.
We all had a bad week. Yeah.
I think I figured it out. It was the holiday hangover.
Oh.
I didn't really think that it hit me all that bad, but yeah, I got like horrible holiday hangover all last week. Trying to get back into work was nearly impossible. Like I got stuff done, but man, it was like mentally exhausting just to turn on my work computer and start doing things. Did you have that same issue last week? Was that what was happening with you? Or
yeah, and I think we both made a big mistake this year by not taking that time off. Like we said, everyone else is taking it off and we're not.
Well,
I think it played into it a little bit, man.
You think so? I don't know, because like I've been telling you, and like I've been telling all our listeners, like this is the best hour of my week. Every single day, this is the best hour of my day. So I don't know if it was the podcasting. I think it's just, it really was the work, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I feel like I'm on an island right now at work, so it's a little overwhelming.
Dude. Yeah. Well, you're not alone, man. There's still the job shifting is changing rapidly this year. You know, people are still not going back fully.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think remote work's probably going to be here to stay. Every time one of these big companies says, hey, everybody's got to come back to work, all their top talent says, well, then I'm going to leave. And so they have to backtrack because they don't want to lose any of their top talent. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be a very interesting year. Like all years are, but I think this one's going to be a little bit more frenetic, maybe.
What is that?
Weird.
Frenetic.
Lots of energy, fast moving. Do you want here? Let me give you the actual definition.
Frenetic is a fun word to learn today. Frenetic
marked by fast and energetic, disordered, or anxiety-driven activity. Frenzied, frantic.
Okay, all right. I hear you with the frenzied, frantic.
So frenetic is basically like my operating speed. I've been trying to be better about that because I don't want to be frenzied and frantic all the time. I don't like anxiety and I don't like my anxiety. I'm trying to get rid of it.
Sheesh. Well, you ever want to drop some anxiety, come out, hang out with me in the record store. I ran the record store yesterday.
Oh, you did? Again? Nice.
Yeah. It being Elvis's birthday, people came in, bought a lot of Elvis merch, which was cool. But something happened to me right in the rush. I hit the wrong button on the credit card thingamajigger, and then everything was in Spanish.
Well, come on, you've lived here your whole life. Don't you know enough to get through?
Oh yeah, but it is embarrassing when people are buying these records and I'm like, just to let you know, I pushed the wrong button and now everything's in Spanish, so lo siento.
Lo siento. Yeah, that's interesting.
So that was a little ball of anxiety I had this weekend, surrounded by a lot of nice sounds, sitting there listening to music, watching the rain come in.
Well, where were Dudley and Jesse at?
Oh man, it's tax time, so they need to take a couple days off and get the numbers in order and get ahead of the ball. And then I'm going back there on Friday. Because they're going shopping. They're going to get a bunch of new merch.
Oh, nice! That sounds really fun. Oh, and guys, we're talking about Dudley's Records in Torrance. Dudley's Records and Vinyl in Torrance.
It's a good place for vinyl. All right, let's get into some news today. Well, what does it mean to be middle class anymore? The definition can be confusing, and it changes depending on where you live and how many people live with you. Well, in a study published this last year, Pew Research Center defined middle income adults as adults in 2021 with an annual household income that was 2/3 to double the national median income in 2020, blah, blah, blah. Well, that comes down to the numbers. You have to have an annual income of 52,000 to 156,000 for a family of three. And simply put, adjusted for inflation, the annual household income to be classified as middle class nowadays would start around $60,000 a year.
It's a lot of big words for saying that we're all poor now.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation, adjustments, CPI, blah, 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 blah.
That's when you're in real trouble, when people start using really big words, you know?
All these accounting and economics words that we all don't know. So wait, I guess I'm still middle class, huh? Hey, go back up, scroll back up.
Yeah, I think
we're in the back, so now I can't see what Barry's talking about. Oh, there we go. Okay. 100. Yeah. Oh, yep. I am. Linda and I are solidly in the middle class. It looks like.
Good for you, lucky duck.
Hey, I mean, it's living middle class is still a struggle, man. It's hard to pay for stuff.
Yeah, what does middle class even mean? I mean, what is that really? That means you can buy your own groceries and pay your own bills. Is that?
I guess you definitely can't buy a house on a middle class income in Southern California, literally anywhere. I mean, maybe if we go out past wait, is Salton Sea, that's still considered Southern California because it's technically in Southern California, right? I mean,
listen, Joe.
Am I gonna have to move out to Calexico or something?
See, now that's the thing that I find so fascinating is we're talking about California, and the first city you come up with is like that Salton Sea, which is considered like the trash part of California.
Whoa! That is disparaging, my man. Salton Sea is not the trash part of Southern California. You take that back, or I'm gonna have all 10 residents of the Salton Sea area come and attack you.
Okay, I apologize to those residents and all lithium miners.
Hey, that's going to be a big deal. That's actually going to turn around the Salton Sea area, I think.
Yeah.
And you do know that there is a lot of farming down there.
Oh yeah.
You should know this. That's most of the dates produced in California come from that area. And I'm just talking about it because I might be able to afford a house out there, but I doubt it. It's still probably like $500,000 for a shack in the middle of the desert in Calexico. I just like saying Calexico. That's why I keep bringing it up.
It's a nice word. It's a nice city.
So I guess I am middle class, but that does not mean I can afford a house. It means that I can pay rent, pay all of my bills on time, afford some food, and take a trip a year. I think that's what middle class means these days.
Okay. Somewhere between 52 and 156 for a family of three.
Oh, wow. Man, that is just, I just don't know about that. Yeah, Calexico. Man, I'm looking at the map right now. This whole thing, all the way up, Mexicali is on the other side of the border. And then you have the the Nuevo entrance.
That's the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and just
they really do. But yeah, that's like the whole that's the Imperial Valley, I think.
Valley, yeah.
Nice. So it's like everything up to the Salton Sea area. That's like all date farms, and you got like a bunch of wheat out there. There's a lot of stuff out there. So don't disparage the Salton Sea and that area. That's like Palm Desert and Palm Springs. That's like, it's not bad out there, man.
Okay.
Fine. It's not bad. It's fun. It's good stuff. Good stuff out there. I still can't afford a house out there. So anyway, that's where we are. That's where we are. That's with middle class get you in Southern California.
Yep. Well, today's show is brought to you by
Mint Mobile, providing premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G network. but for way less than what big wireless companies charge. Here's a resolution you're going to want to keep. From now until January 15th, you'll get 3 months free when you buy any 3-month plan. But this offer won't be around much longer, so don't drop the ball. Mint Mobile, premium wireless for $15 a month. Switch to Mint Mobile and stop spending so much on your wireless plan. Use our referral link to get $15 in renewal credit.
All right. More news. In Lake Katwe, Uganda, a 2-year-old boy was swallowed by a hippo and then spit back out after a witness pelted the animal with stones, according to police. Imagine this police description of the incident here. Police said the attack happened in April, but it wasn't reported till last week. Officials said the 2-year-old boy was identified as Iga Paul, and they said Iga was playing at his home when the hippo grabbed him by the head and swallowed half of his body. Police credited a nearby witness with saving the boy after he threw stones at the hippo and scared it, causing it to release the 2-year-old from its mouth. Officials said Iga was rushed to a clinic and then taken to a hospital for further treatment. They said the boy recovered fully after receiving a rabies vaccine. Authorities said the hippo traveled 800 meters from Lake Edward to potentially swallow this kid. And they said it's the first time a hippo strayed out of the lake and attacked a young child. Now, according to National Geographic, hippos' deadly strength makes them one of Africa's most dangerous animals, but it's estimated that as many as 500 to 3,000 humans die from hippo attacks each year. Although they're vegetarians, they said they can be aggressive when they sense danger. So watch out for hippos in Uganda.
Did you know that hippos are one of the most deadly animals on the planet?
I did not. I mean, size-wise, I would imagine, yeah. But I thought they were
huge too. I'm sorry, what?
I thought they were vegans, though, you know?
Well, sure, but I mean, they have a really powerful jaw strength. So when it's kind of like alligators, you know, alligators clamp down and like don't release. Hippos have kind of like a similar thing with their jaw strength, and they're just big and they're just massive, and they could just like pull you down and under and drown you. And that's usually what happens.
Speaking of wild animals, man, I just saw Nope. Did you see?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, dude.
No, I won't watch it, but you can talk about it all you want.
You gotta watch it, man. I'll tell you what.
Oh, it's a horror movie. I don't watch horror movies.
Not really, though. See,
it is though. It's a thriller horror kind of thing, right?
It's a thriller, and there are horrible moments in it, but it's not what you'd expect. Really, I tried to ignore the spoilers for however long it's been out, you know, and I was successful at that. I was very happy that I was successful at being surprised at this movie. And there's some really good moments. I recommend it. It's not really gory. It's not one of those. It's really well done. Surprisingly, I think the trailer did not do the movie justice. And if you look at how many awards that sucker won, that movie, then you'd know, like, oh, you give it a second look. So, you know, when you're considering things, consider Nope, man. But, you know, I just talk about it because it's well known that you're not supposed to look a wild animal in the eye. And if you do, they're unpredictable, those wild animals, no matter a hippo or, you know what the deadliest animal is here in California, Joe?
The deadliest animal in California besides humans? Yes. Is it a bear of some kind? No, because we only have brown bears here, and they're really, really scared of everything.
What kills more people in the wilderness than anything else because they can't go to the hospital in time?
Is it a rattlesnake?
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, look at me go. I am smart. Yes, people, when you are traveling out in snake-infested areas, please bring a snake bite kit with you. They are small and very, very portable. And if you are ever going to Joshua Tree, please, please, please bring a snake bite kit.
Yeah, you don't need a hippo kit in Joshua Tree. But if you were going,
I wonder what that kit would look like.
probably a big old rock, apparently, because that's how they fixed it there.
It'd be like those like old 1860s elephant guns that we see in like Bugs Bunny cartoons and stuff.
It'd be
Like Elmer Fudd had those big old guns. Yeah.
It would be a horn made of some, animal bone.
Oh man, that's crazy. Oh man. So that was in Uganda, you said?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, predictable.
Africa's a crazy place. I got to get over it because that's like, oh, I see where this is. This is in Rift Valley. Lake Edwards is. Oh, on the Uganda side, it's a swamp.
Obviously, of course, exactly.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Everybody knows about that.
Oh.
Oh man, I gotta really stop talking about the weeds here. Anyway, in that part, this is where everybody goes for. Well, not everybody. A lot of people go into this kind of area for safaris and things. This whole area where you see all these lakes and rivers running down, it's called Rift Valley. That's where the two continental plates in Africa are meeting. No, they're separating. Yeah, they're separating. That's why it's the Rift Valley. Anyway, interesting stuff. Yeah, really cool.
Watch out for hippos, man.
Watch out for hippos.
All right, more news. Beer sales have long been a gauge of the economy, and it says a lot for beer lovers. It takes a lot for beer lovers to abandon their brews. But now, with inflation near a 40-year high and the cost of brewing a beer on the rise, breweries are now being forced to raise the prices of their products, and increasingly consumers are buying less beer. In spite of concerns over an economy plagued with supply chain disruptions and rising personnel costs, beer has appeared to be amazingly recession-resistant post-pandemic, but now that might be changing.
Got our summer.
Trevor Self has a job lots of people would envy.
Here we got our seasonal releases.
Marketing director for a craft brewery, Mad Tree Brewing.
It just won gold at the World Beer Cup.
But this year, that dream job has become a bad dream for some brewers struggling with supplier price hikes.
Ever since 2020, things have been fluctuating and getting higher. So we're always factoring in, what could possibly be.
It's been a rough couple of years for the craft brewing industry. Just like any of us, when we go to the supermarket, they've been dealing with the same inflationary pressures plus shortages, just on a much bigger scale.
People out there are having a tough time getting their hands on cans or, with how much they're having to pay for them.
A report in the enthusiast site goodbeerhunting.com says the price of aluminum cans are up 20% in a year, malt up 30% or more, shipping costs up 50%, and labor up 20%. But it's the CO2 or carbon dioxide shortage that's causing the most headaches right now.
It is an ingredient. So if you don't have CO2, you don't have beer.
Chuck Skypeck with the Brewers Association says some smaller craft breweries are now curtailing production until later this fall.
They may not see their favorite beer on the shelf if the brewery has encountered those problems.
The government's consumer price index shows beer prices up 5% this year, but Skypeck says that could go higher. Back at Mad Tree Brewing, Trevor Self says they're doing everything they can to keep these taps flowing.
We're always finding creative and strategic ways to save on costs without dampening our product.
And keep the price of that first sip affordable. And that way you don't waste your money.
Yeah, I think, we've been talking about the fallout of the shipping crisis since we started here. And, it takes a few months for it to take effect. And it looks like now's the time. It's starting to hit everything. Here's now the story on beer. We've been covering all the stories on everything going up. And now it's time for good old beer to go up.
Yeah, and that shipping 50% increase on shipping costs. Wow, that's a lot. I thought it was going to be maybe the CO2. I can see. I've been reading about the shortages on some gases that we need. Nitrogen shortage is a big one too. But man, 50%. I can understand how that would just really cut into your profit. If you're a small local, you're just trying to get it out to like local bars or local vendors, and man, 50%. Oh.
Well,
that hurts.
Remember what happened? It hit every part of transportation. Most recently, the airplanes had a big problem. Before that, it was the trains. They had a problem there with the trains. And then before that, didn't the truckers go on strike? And then,
Yep.
And then before that, all the supplies were parked in the middle of the ocean because we couldn't get them in here. So, I mean, we've been backed up, man. So now, why do we have to pay the price? Because of economy.
Well, I mean, that's normal though. You're gonna have those increases. I think it's hitting a lot of these smaller manufacturers because they can't. It's the economy of scale helps some of the bigger people because they can negotiate better prices for product, right? But if you're a small brewer, you're not going to be asking for literally tons and tons and tons of hops. You're like, a couple 100 pounds. So when you can't buy in bulk, that really hurts as well. So. Yeah. Man, that's going to be a bummer. Teacher Tim, he loves his craft beers. How's he going to get them? I don't understand. He's not going to get a sour beer now, so it's going to be very devastating for him.
Yeah, it's always that last mile that gets us.
So without the CO2, if it's not beer, what do you make then? Is it ale? Does ale and lager? Do those have lager has CO2? Does ale have CO2?
I think you need it for the brew, because I know while you're brewing mead, at least while the alcohol and sugar, the sugar and yeast, they release CO2 as a byproduct, so you have to let that out or it'll explode. So I know that it's in there, so I just don't know much about brewing, but I know
we have to get into that. I know more about distilling than I know brewing because I'm not the biggest beer drinker, so it never really struck me as something that I wanted to learn. But hey, man, we could talk about whiskey distilling all you want.
No problem there, though. No problem at all.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. So the other thing that they were talking about is the aluminum cans. Can they find a cheaper alternative for aluminum cans? And is glass more expensive still?
I don't know. That's for a future story, Joe.
Well, I'm asking you. You're supposed to have the answers, Bear. Oh, wait. No. I'm supposed to have. I don't even have the answers for myself. Man. Oh, I am failing. I am failing today. See, it's Monday. It's
Google.
Monday, so I've been trying, but you know what? It's such a Monday. I can't even Google correctly today.
Hey, maybe it'll work better tomorrow, huh? When we're back.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe it'll be a terrific Tuesday.
That's right. We'll be back for that. We'll see you tomorrow. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show.